Hey you, welcome to the channel for my Premier League predictions. Game week 2. Game week 1 was an interesting week and I got 3 games spot on predicted. So going to this game week 2, I'm looking up to get more spot on predictions. Without wasting much of your time, let's get into the game week 2 predictions. Starting with the first game is between Brighton and Hove Albion versus Manchester United. Head to head, Brighton and Manchester United have had some interesting crashes in recent years. Last season, Brighton won at home 1-0 against Manchester United. Current form, Brighton in game week 1 won their game 3-0 against Everton, and Man United also won 1-0 against Fulham at Old Trafford. Going to this game will be an interesting game. The possibility of this game ending in a draw is very high, but going to this game, I'm predicting a tricky scoreline. I'm predicting Brighton 2, Manchester United 2. On to the second game is between Tottenham Hotspur versus Everton. Head to head, Tottenham have been dominating this fixture in recent years. They have won majority of their home games against Everton, and Everton mostly struggle at the Tottenham Stadium. And going to this game against Tottenham in game week 2, Everton in game week 1 lost 3-0 against Brighton, and Tottenham also drew 1-1 with newly promoted Leicester City. So going to this game is a must-win game for Tottenham Hotspur, and the possibility of this game ending in a draw is very low. So I'm predicting a 2-0 win for Tottenham. Tottenham Hotspur 2, Everton 0. Let's moving on to the third game is between Crystal Palace versus West Ham United. These London derbies are often close affairs. Last season, both teams managed to get win in their respective home grounds. Crystal Palace has a slightly better record at the Selhurst Park since there is their home grounds, and facing West Ham United, who in game week 1 also lost 2-1 against Aston Villa at home at the London Stadium, and Crystal Palace also lost 2-1 against Brentford. Going to this game will be an interesting game, and well, I'm predicting a 3-1 victory for West Ham since they have better squad depth. Going to this game against Crystal Palace, I'm predicting a 3-1 victory for West Ham United. Oh yes, moving on to the next game is between Fulham versus Leicester City. Fulham in recent season has been very good when it comes to their home ground, but going to this game against Leicester City, who in game week 1 also got a 1-1 draw with Tottenham Hotspur, I think this will be an interesting game. Game week 1, Fulham also lost 1-0 against Manchester United, and going to this game will be a must-win game for Fulham. If they want to start the season well, they must at least get a point in this game, and the possibility of this game ending in a draw is very high. But going to this game, I'm predicting a tricky scoreline. I'm predicting Leicester to get the win over Fulham. I'm predicting Leicester City 2, Fulham 1. Yes, moving on to match number 5 is between Manchester City versus Ipswich Town. Manchester City has never faced Ipswich Town in the Premier League for so many years, as Ipswich just got promoted into the Premier League. Historically, Man City has dominated lower ranked teams, and Ipswich will likely struggle against Manchester City, which are the current reigning champions in the Premier League. Current form, Manchester City in their first game in the Premier League won 2-0 at the Stamford Bridge against Chelsea, and Ipswich also lost 2-0 against Liverpool in their first game in the Premier League. So going to this game, it's a comfortable win for Manchester City going to this game against newly promoted Ipswich Town at the Etihad Stadium. So I'm predicting a 5-0 win for Manchester City. Haaland to score hat-trick in this game. Manchester City 5, Ipswich Town 0. Yes, moving on to match number 6 is between Aston Villa versus Arsenal. Head to head, Arsenal has generally done well against Villa recently. In their last 2 games in the Premier League, Aston Villa managed to beat Arsenal home and away last season. And going to this game in game week 2 will be an interesting and a tough game. Arsenal like to get victory over Aston Villa. I'm predicting a tough prediction. I'm predicting a 2-2 draw. Aston Villa 2, Arsenal 2. Oh yes, moving on to the next game is between Wolves versus Chelsea. Head to head, Wolves has been a tricky opponent for Chelsea in recent years, especially at the Millennium Stadium. However, Chelsea has slightly better overall records against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Looking at Chelsea current form, Chelsea in their first game lost 2-0 against Manchester City, and Wolves in their also first game lost 2-0 against Arsenal. So going into this game will be an interesting clash, but going into this game, since Chelsea is under rebuilding and the new management, I'm expecting Chelsea to improve a lot in this game. So going into this game, I'm predicting a 3-1 victory for Chelsea. Chelsea 3, Wolves 1. Yes, moving on to the next game is between Liverpool versus Brentford. Head to head, Liverpool has had an upper hand in this fixture, but Brentford has managed to surprise few big teams before, including Liverpool. Current form, Liverpool attack loose sharp, and going into this game at Anfield, my prediction for this game, Liverpool is expected to secure a win over Brentford at Anfield, and this will be a tough and interesting one, and I'm predicting a 2-1 victory for Liverpool. Liverpool 2, Brentford 1. Yes, moving on to the next game is between Bournemouth versus Newcastle United. Newcastle in game week 1 struggled and got 1-0 victory over Southampton. In that game, Newcastle had red card and still managed to secure a win over Southampton. And Bournemouth in game week 1 also drew 1-1 with Nottingham Forest. So going into this game in game week 2 will be an interesting game and a tough one, of course. I'm predicting a 2-1 upset. I'm predicting Bournemouth 2, Newcastle United 1. Yes, the next game is between Southampton versus Nottingham Forest. In game week 1, Southampton lost 1-0 against Newcastle United. But going into this game in game week 2 against Nottingham Forest side, who also in game week 1 managed to get 1-1 draw with AFC Bournemouth. This would be an interesting and a tough game to call. I'm predicting another draw here. I'm predicting Southampton 1, Nottingham Forest 1. Yes, so these are my predictions for Premier League Game Week 2. Let me know what you think at the comment section. Do you agree with me with the probability and the possibility of each team winning or drawing or even securing a point or losing? What do you think? Let me know your mind at the comment section. Till we meet in another video, I'm still your boy Andy Final. Till we meet in another video, bye bye for now.